It's a beautiful Saturday afternoon. Welcome to TV Sapienza News Hour. I am Oluchi Ojobamidele. Anambra State Government has organized a 3-day sector-wide approach SWAP capacity and development training for health workers in the state. The Anambra State SWAP Desk Officer Dr. Uju Okoye said that SWAP is a federal government initiative targeted at every state in order to ensure improvement in service delivery in the health sector. Also speaking at the event, the Anambra State Commissioner for Health, Dr. Afam Obidike, explained that the training is to prepare participants for the annual operational plan and discuss how to effectively plan for the next year for efficient results towards rational, realistic, pragmatic, and comprehensive plan that informs health budget for Anambra people. President Bola Tinubu has appointed Muhammadu Babangida, the son of the former military president, as chairman of the revamped Bank of Agriculture. This was disclosed in a statement by the Special Advisor on Information and Strategy to the President, titled, President Tinubu appoints Muhammadu Babangida chairman of the Bank of Agriculture, others as chairman and heads of government agencies. President Tinubu also appointed 8 others, some of whom will serve as the chairman or director generals of federal agencies. Muhammadu Babangida, 53 years old, is an alumnus of the European University in Montreux, Switzerland, where he earned a bachelor's degree in business administration and a master's degree in public relations and business communication. He later attended Harvard Business School Executive Program on Corporate Governance in 2002. The Nigerian Union of Journalists NUJ FCT Council has announced the revival and strengthening of press clubs in secondary schools across Abuja to nurture the next generation of ethical and professional journalists. Stating this during an interactive session at Government Secondary School Gariki, NUJ FCT Vice Chairman Comrade Yahaya Ndababo, who represented the council, stressed that fostering strong journalism foundations must begin in schools. Ndababo said the goal is to promote professionalism from the grassroots by empowering students with journalistic skills and values early. He revealed that the union has slated Thursday, 24th of July 2025 as the official launch date for the Press Club Revival project, beginning with 2 pilot schools in an effort to bring up future generations to promote ethical journalism. Representing the secondary school in Gariki's leadership, matron of the press club, Mrs. Udofia Emowa, warmly welcomed the initiative, calling it a timely and visionary effort that will ignite students' passion for journalism. This year's Press Week theme is Journalism in a Changing World, Press Freedom, Media, Democracy and Society. In Kwara State, the government has reiterated its unwavering commitment to tackling sexual violence across the state. It said that the fight against sexual violence remains a priority agenda under the administration of Governor Abdurrahman Abdurrazak. The Commissioner for Women Affairs, Chief Mrs. Obeemi of Aloshade, made this known during a program organized by the Ministry of Women Affairs in partnership with the Girl Child Art Foundation, held at the ministry's headquarters in Ilori. Chief Afolashade stressed that the aim of the initiative is to foster dialogue within communities, reduce cases of sexual violence in society, and increase community support towards ending sexual violence in the state. She commended Governor Abdurrazak for his administration's significant efforts in addressing the scourge of sexual violence, as well as for creating an inclusive environment that welcomes collaboration from both individuals and organizations. The Commissioner highlighted mechanisms already put in place by the state government to tackle rape and other forms of sexual violence, which include the domestication of the Violence Against Persons Prohibition Act, the establishment of a sexual assault referral center, the constitution of a 21-member committee on sexual offenses chaired by the First Lady, Ambassador Professor Olufolake Abdurazak, and the provision of helplines, shelters, and psychosocial support services for survivors of rape. The Nigerian government has vowed to end Nigeria's dependence on fish importation by aggressively boosting local fish production. The Minister of Marine and Blue Economy, Adeboyega, stated this at a high-level consultative meeting with fisheries cooperative groups in Abuja, Nigeria's capital. He listed a bold vision aimed at transforming the nation's aquaculture sector into a powerhouse of food security, employment, and export competitiveness. Oyetola maintained that the federal government is fully committed to supporting the fisheries and aquaculture sector through policy, technical support, and financial inclusion. According to him, the ministry is intensifying efforts to support women and youth in the fishing sector, stating that startup grants and other empowerment initiatives are already on the way. The president of the Nigerian Labour Congress NLC, Joe Ajaero, has declared that the 2023 presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, is at liberty to associate with any political coalition or platform of his choice. Ajaero said any member of the Labour Party could associate with the African Democratic Congress ADC either as visitor, host, or guest. He, however, reiterated that Labour Party was not involved in any merger or alliance talks, insisting that the party is capable of winning the 2027 general elections on its own strength. Ajaero's comment comes amid growing controversy surrounding Obi's participation in a newly formed opposition coalition, ADC, which prompted Julius Abure-led faction of the party to issue a 48-hour ultimatum demanding his resignation. In a statement released in Abuja, the faction spokesman Obi Oraifo rejected any association with the coalition, describing it as a gathering of recycled, desperate, and frustrated politicians. But Ajaero dismissed the directive questioning the legitimacy of Abure's leadership and reaffirming the NLC's founding role in the party. The Nigerian Customs Service Area 2 Command in One Port has seized 16 containers laden with illegally imported pharmaceutical products and goods worth over 20 billion naira at the One Port in Rivers State. The customs said most of the seized items include illegal pharmaceutical products such as codeine syrup, extra diclofenac, tramadol, as well as cartons of cream systematically concealed in an attempt to beat import protocols. The Controller General of Customs, Bashir Adeniyi, who disclosed this while displaying the seized items before newsmen at a news briefing at the Customs Area 2 Command in One on Friday, said that the feat was achieved following intensified intelligence-led enforcement by the Customs in collaboration with the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, among others. While noting that the potential impact of these illicit pharmaceutical products on public health and national security cannot be overstated, the Customs Board said unregulated drugs pose severe risk, including drug addiction, compromised treatment outcomes, and the facilitation of organized criminal activities that threatens community safety and national stability. Speaking shortly after receiving the seized pharmaceuticals from the Customs Director General, the Director General of NAFDAC, Professor Mojisola Adeye, commended the Customs Board and his diligent officers for their vigilance and collaboration, saying their work at the front line of import control is indispensable in preventing potentially harmful products from reaching our shelves. The strike workers of Ogun State have rejected Governor Dapo Abiodun's offer on the resolution of the indefinite strike. These are more news to return after the break. Stay with us on TV Sapienza News. Welcome back. The striking workers of Ogun State have rejected Governor Dapo Abiodun's offers on the resolution to the indefinite strike declared over the unremitted 82 billion naira contributory pension deduction spanning 14 years, among other concerns of the workers. The rejection was contained in a communique issued on Friday by the organized labor with signatories of 25 affiliate unions after a 7-hour emergency meeting held in Abeokuta, the state capital. The organized labor said that some of the issues discussed during the meeting held with Abiodun on Thursday were the contributory pension scheme, new minimum wage through consequential adjustments, 8 years arrears of leave allowance, consequential adjustments on pension, as well as issues around 2023 and 2024 staff promotions. However, in a statement sent to journalists on Friday by the Chief Press Secretary to Governor Abiodun, Lekon Adeniro, the governor said that his administration would ensure immediate payment for workers who retire from July 2nd, 2025 through the contributory pension scheme. He equally indicated that a 10-year payment plan would commence from 2025 to 2030 under the first phase, while the second phase, which would commence next year, would be from 2030 to 2035. The governor, according to the statement, disclosed that with this arrangement, payment will be made for the remaining 2 years of his tenure, while 8 years of payment would be for his successors. On the foreign news today, hundreds of Liberians flood the streets of the capital chanting "Enough is enough" and demanding accountability from President Joseph Boakai's government. The demonstration, led by opposition figure Muba Molu, marks the most visible protest since Boakai took office last year, promising reforms and better living conditions. The protesters carried signs and voiced frustrations over unmet campaign promises, job losses, and the government's failure to establish a long-promised war crime court. Protesters are calling for the creation of a war crimes tribunal to prosecute those responsible for atrocities committed between 1989 and 2003. There is a growing frustration that figures widely believed to have committed war crimes remain free or even active in political life. Protesters also denounced what they describe as politically motivated firings and call for the restoration of the rule of law. Musi Dennis, a demonstrator, criticized President Boakai's leadership so far, saying Liberians expected more from a man with decades of public service. While no violence was reported, Monrovia's usually bustling streets were quieter than usual, as many residents opted to stay at home, fearing possible unrest. Meanwhile, President Boakai's office has yet to respond publicly to the protest or its demands. The United Nations Refugee Agency has issued a warning that up to 11.6 million refugees and displaced people could lose access to critical humanitarian assistance due to severe funding cuts. UN Agency's Director of External Relations, Dominic Hyde, yesterday said that millions of people forced to flee may be left without the basic support they rely on from the UN. Hyde emphasized the urgent need for international solidarity and sustained donor support to prevent a deeper humanitarian catastrophe. The agency, which provides shelter, food, healthcare, and protection to millions displaced by conflict and persecution, is facing one of the most critical budget shortfalls in recent years. The funding gap threatens life-saving operations in regions already grappling with multiple crises, including the Middle East, Africa, and South Asia. On the world of sports today, Super Falcons coach Justin Maiduguri has hailed the team's commanding win over Zambia in the quarter-final match at the 2024 Women's African Cup of Nations WAFCON. Maiduguri expressed her joy after the emphatic win at the Labi Stadium, Casablanca, Morocco on Friday, saying the girls put up a good performance and they won. The win saw Nigeria reach the semi-final of the competition in their quest to win a 10th WAFCON crown. Zambia beat Nigeria in a third-place game in the last edition of the tournament, but the Super Falcons coach said Friday's victory was not a revenge. Nigeria have now gone 4 matches without conceding a goal, while also making it a record 13th semi-final appearance in the tournament. It also ensured the Super Falcons made it a record of 13th semi-final appearance in the competition. The Super Falcons are the record winners of the WAFCON, taking home the crown 9 times. 3-time Grand Slam finalist Ons Jabeur of Tunisia has announced on social media that she is taking a break from competitive tennis. Jabeur, the first Arab woman to reach a Grand Slam final, has struggled with her form in recent months, failing to get past the third round of a major this year. The 2-time Wimbledon finalist campaign came to a disappointing end to all the England club last month as she retired from her first round clash against Victoria Tomova, unable to continue after a long medical timeout. The 30-year-old recalled how she has been pushing herself so hard, fighting through injuries and facing many other challenges. She suffered from asthma and experienced breathing difficulties at this year's Australian Open. Jabeur, often called the Minister of Happiness for her cheerful personality, said she was not feeling truly happy on the court. She also has been open about her wish to start a family. To end the news today, here are the major news headlines. President Bola Tinubu has appointed Muhammadu Babangida, the son of the former military president, as chairman of the revamped Bank of Agriculture. And the United Nations Refugee Agency has issued a warning that up to 11.6 million refugees and displaced people could lose access to critical humanitarian assistance due to severe funding cuts. And in sports, Super Falcons coach Justin Maiduguri has hailed the team's commanding win over Zambia in a quarter-final match at the 2024 Women's African Cup of Nations. That was the TV Sapienza News. On behalf of the technical and editorial crew, I am Oluchi Ojobamdele. Good afternoon and have a beautiful weekend.